Got it.
Okay, here we go. All right. Hi. So today we're going
I
to
was
talk
just guy.
about Death of a Salesman. I just flipped off. I just flipped it upside down. Okay. My name's Lucy.
I'm Charlotte, as you know.
He knows our names. Okay. Would you like to start?
Sure. So I was thinking of talking about Willie and how throughout the book we learn about his values and how he views his own success. And I remember talking in our last discussion about his kind of whole like speech on page 81. And he talks about it's actually the last line. He goes, "You see what I mean? They don't know me anymore." And it's kind of like when he talks about how people remember the death of a salesman dying with such ease with the green slippers because he had so much fame, everyone knew him. And Willie kind of craves like that success of people knowing him and like validating him and like making sure he's known, because when he dies, when he dies, he wants people to remember him in a good way, and like he wants people to remember how good his kids are and all of these things. And it kind of just made me realize that he kind of has a hard he does have a hard life, and he kind of gets in his head a lot because um he's always overthinking. And I don't know, just I think with him thinking about the guy with slippers, he spends so much time thinking about what his life could be and trying to perfect it that he just self-destructs himself through the process.
Mm, I think no, that's really true. And I think this scene where he was talking about the man, it was really like it really struck me because well, this is like this guy, his name Dave Singleman. He really
Mhm.
like looks up to this guy because of how successful he is. And I think he wants to be exactly like him. And one of his main accomplishments is being dead and having a lot of people at his funeral. And so I just thought that that was really sad because it just definitely shows that he doesn't really care too much about enjoying life or like really making an impact on anyone, because like if the thing that you're looking forward to the most is people being at your funeral, like you're not even going to be alive. I don't know, that just really, it was like, whoa, that's sad, because
Yeah.
he doesn't really value his family as much. Well,
Mhm.
okay, I don't know, he doesn't, I don't know, he's not as connected with his family as he could be, but like he wants people to remember him, but he's not even like making connections with anyone. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think he like lacks. I think it's because since he's so hard on others, because I think he thinks like people need to change with him. Like I
Mhm.
think in order for he how do I phrase this? I think Willie puts all of his pain and thoughts on other people to change around him because he wants people to make him look good.
Yeah.
I don't think he can make himself look good. And I think he lacks that like um emotional feelings from his family because of that, because he's so hard on his family. He wants them to be so great and successful, but at the same time he can't, because since he's so worried on the other people around him, he can't worry on himself. And it kind of reminded me, this is literally like one of the last pages of the book, but when Biff starts it's on page 133, but when Biff starts crying to him because he he has had enough. He's so overwhelmed.
Mhm.
He not even function because all Willie has said is, "Hey, I want you to do this. I want you to be great. You need to do this." Because I think that's what Willie has lacked his whole life. So he wants to see it throughout Biff, because I feel like they're a lot very similar in a lot of ways.
Mhm.
And um and Biff starts crying because he just like he can't, like he's so like emotionally unstable because of all the pressure and stress that Willie has put on him. But it kind of the narrative kind of switches, because once he starts crying, Willie is like mind blown, and he's like feels a sense of like relief and happiness because he can't believe his son has cared for him.
Yeah.
And I just like I thought that was kind of like interesting because usually like crying, like obviously you want to like make sure your kid's okay, and he's kind of just like, finally like someone notices me, someone realizes how
Yeah.
much hard work I put in, like they're like honoring me or whatever. I don't know,
He
I
says,
thought that was
"Isn't that
interesting.
remarkable, Biff? He likes me."
Because like I don't know, he just like he almost like he literally says, wow, that boy is going to be magnificent, like, and everyone's like, yeah, he loves you. Like I guess that goes back to my point from earlier, just like how much Willie seeks validation from people around him.
Yeah, he really does. And I think like I don't know, I think sometimes well part of this might be because of the mental state he's in.
Mhm.
He's clearly well, in my opinion, I think he's either like dementia or something or some other um
Yeah.
mental thing.
Mhm.
Um but I think sometimes like I think he gets even confused about like I think sometimes he thinks that he is Biff. I know that's like kind of a stretch, but I feel like he sees himself in his son so much and he sees them as a reflection of himself because like if he's a good father and he has a lot of money, then of course his kids are going to be great too.
Mhm.
But clearly that's not the case.
Yeah,
And
like
also it's like that with Linda, like
mhm.
he expects her to like not do a lot of work and have like he hates when she mends the stockings, and that's all because he realizes that it's like his fault.
Yeah, I remember like talking about Linda, how like I guess she's like kind of, obviously we've seen like and talked about in class how she holds the family together.
Yes.
Um I know that he kind of, I feel like it kind of like is weird too, because you see her always mending stockings, like we talked about how that's a really big symbol, because
Mhm.
it's like she's always doing something, and like for her family she's always making sure they're respectful towards Willie, they're like doing the right thing, they're doing all of these things. But there comes a point where um Willie, I'm trying to find the page, I think it's page 75. Yeah, Willie's like um mm, oh, he's like just um she kind of like
Oh
just
yeah.
Willie that Willie's like, oh, I will never get behind a wheel again, and then there's like, yes, it's finally changing, because like she really like is always behind Willie all the time, making sure he's
Mhm.
okay. And he's like, oh my gosh, this is great, like all of these things, be careful, because I think, oh, this is when he's on his way to see to like ask his boss to like quit, or like to change his like not traveling job.
Mhm.
And Willie's like, will you stop mending stockings? At least while I'm in the house, it gets me nervous. I can't tell you, please, and all these things. And it just like, it's kind of weird too, because like I guess he like, I guess this is a moment where he realizes that like, okay, now that I'm good, you're good, you don't need to keep doing work. So like then it makes me think, does like he always expect like her to do work? I don't know.
Mm. That also well this scene reminds me of the other discussion we were having in class about like disillusionment and how
Mhm.
obviously Willie is very disillusioned, I guess that's the word I would
Yeah.
use, um, about, you know, his financial state,
Mhm.
about how people see him, about like what success is. But at the same time, we talked about how like Linda is also clearly very disillusioned if she still thinks that he can change. And I don't know, I just like I think it's more than just her being very optimistic and positive. I think she kind of doesn't she's very disillusioned as well if she
Yeah.
thinks that like I don't know. He's like how old are they? They're like old. And if she
Yeah.
thinks he's gonna change and like make a lot of money or something, I don't know.
Yeah, I also think like I agree with that. And like going back to, I found another page going. So towards the end of the book, I think it's page 121, it's when Biff like um how we never knew like the reason why Biff didn't go to summer school and why he failed and couldn't play football and all of these things. And it's because we found out that when he goes to Boston to visit Willie, he like sees the woman.
Give pear.
and like like he sees it cheating and he's like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, like um like how could you do this, like, and Willie just kind of says like, I'm lonely, I'm terribly lonely. And I
Hmm.
don't know, it kind of makes me sad because like Linda does so much for Willie, and like
Yeah.
he just like is blinded by the fact sometimes that she does so much and literally like goes through thick and thin. And like we even see like when Linda's like talking to herself that she's like, I care for him so much, I love him. And
Yeah.
Willie just like is kind of doesn't really give it, like he just like doesn't really care. And Biff says, you gave her mama stockings. And like I feel like it's just kind of interesting how the even like obviously we see how um Linda carries like Willie's emotional state, but also I guess the boys too, because
Yeah.
they notice that she's always mending stockings, that she's always trying to help them and like get the best for him, I guess.
Right. I agree.
Mhm.
Um, Sorry, my cat's like attacking me kind of. What was I gonna say? I got distracted. I think like I feel like the whole family has a lot of respect for Willie and really admires him, but I don't think Willie ever really gives that
Mhm.
back because he's so focused on his appearance and how people, if people like him, if he's well
Yeah.
liked, he just doesn't give them back that kind of love, which is really sad.
Yeah, like I feel like even it's just like an like you never have to like, I feel like it kind of just gives a message like you never have to try as like I guess as hard as you think, because he tries so hard trying to get this perfect image that like he literally like we can even see that he wastes his life, like he even knows it, he feels
Yeah.
like wasted, like he at the end of the book after he knows that so people validate him, he goes in his car and crashes it and kills himself. Like um I just he spends, I think when you spend so much time trying to have the best image for your family, even like with Bernard and Charlie, like trying to like show them how great he is and how great his sons are at football, he
Yeah.
wastes his life in trying to make him happy. And I think that's like an interesting like kind of final point about how the book ends and how like we find out about each character and what they go through.
How long has it been? Should we keep
I think it's good.
going? Okay. All right.
Thanks,
Um,
Mr. Scott.
Mr. Scott, have a good spring
Yeah,
break.
have a great spring break, and we'll see you
Yeah.
in late March.